So I'm back. I hope that chapter 5 did not give you too much trouble, and that now on chapter 6 you'll find this much easier because this is the beginning of the process now that we call patient intake. They've arrived at the office, we completed the registration, and the clinical MA is ready to pick them up at the front and take them back to their room. And we call that rooming, or we say now we're going to take them back and prepare them to see the physician. So, another name for this has always been office visit, but you'll notice that sometimes you'll hear the word encounter. So, from beginning to end, we call this an office visit or encounter. So, there are 4 stages of the patient flow within the office. So, we're going to check them in, we're going to do patient intake, examination, and we're going to check them out. But within each of those 4 phases or stages, there's a lot that is done. So just keep that in mind. So during patient intake, you will escort the patient to the exam room and you'll begin the interview process. So what? Interview? I have to interview the patient? It's just the word that we use. You will know exactly what you need to ask the patient each time. So it's not something you have to make up, and you don't have to ad-lib like I do sometimes on a video. But this is the name that is given for collecting the information that's necessary before the physician will see the patient. That's an interview. So you might be thinking, well, didn't I just collect all that information at check-in? Because they just registered and I checked them in. Well, you did. You got most of it. But you do have to repeat certain elements of that here in the exam room. You are going to have to ask them about their medical history and make sure that you have everything in there. It may have been scanned in for now because I doubt very much that the front office staff would have had time to type it in. So it probably was just scanned in, or it may even be still in written form for the physician. So it might be important to just ask a few questions about it. So you can look at table 6.1 in your book, and it shows a detailed patient flow and who's responsible for which part of that patient flow in each step. So what does the clinical MA enter? Well, we all know that the clinical MA is going to enter the vital signs and the chief complaint. That's a minimum, right? But sometimes the MA is also going to enter the vital family history and the allergies and the current medications that the patient is taking and perhaps the present illness. Sometimes that's where they cut it off and the physician will pick it up there with the history of the present illness. But at a minimum, you'd have that chief complaint. So generally, the physician takes over with review of systems. That is definitely not something that the clinical MA is going to do. And anything beyond that past history that relates to the current situation, the physician should be able to pick up at that point. So they'll enter then the physician will enter all their progress notes, and they will take care of the diagnosis, or we can call that assessment. They'll set up a plan, or we call that treatment. After this, the patient is going to leave that room and they're going to proceed to check out. And in addition, you will learn how to send intra-office memos or messages within the office to each other, and perhaps even a letter or two. I'll see you in lab.